Hi, good morning. Hello, everyone. Okay, so today we're going to cover topic 3, which is belongs to chapter 5. Okay, the topic's title is Managing the Business. So in this chapter, we have several learning objectives. The first one, we look at the nature of the management and we identified the 4 basic functions. And then the second learning objective, we will look at the different type of managers, okay, to be likely found in the organization. The third learning objective, we look at the basic roles and skills required for each managers. And then we will explain the importance of the strategic management. We will discuss the contingency plannings, okay, when the company in the crisis situation. And then learning objective number 6, we will look at the development and explain how important the corporate culture. Okay, the first part is we have to understand what is the management itself. Okay, management is the process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling an organization resources to achieve its goals. So we have to use all the resources in the organization in order to achieve certain objective. Okay, that is what we call it as the management. Okay, so this is the 4 basic function of the management, which is planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So planning is the management process that will determine what the organization needs to do and how best to get it done. That is what we call it as a planning. Okay, we have to identify what kind of action, what kind of activities that we have to do it, okay, throughout of the period, okay, maybe on for 1 year or 1 month. Okay, that is what we call it as a planning. Second learning objective is the second management function is the organizing. Okay, organizing is the process to determine how best to arrange the organization resources. Okay, the first management function, which is we identify the action that we need to do. Second management function, which is how do we arrange, okay, the activities that we have to implement. Okay, which activities, which action that you need to implement it first, and then followed by another action. That is what we call it as the organizing. And then the third management function is leading. Okay, leading is the process of guiding and motivating the employee to achieve the objective. So when we already have what is the plan, what is the action that we are going to be implement, then we have to guide the employee and motivate the employee to implement the action. Okay, in order to achieve a certain objective. That is what we call it as the leading. And then the last management function is controlling, which is the process of management in monitoring the organizational performance. Okay, so when we already implement what kind of action that we are going to implement, then we have to evaluate the implementation. Okay, either the implementation performance is similar as what we expected or not. That is what we call it in the controlling process. Okay, and then in the controlling process, so the first step is we have to establish the standard. Okay, we have to have the benchmark, what kind of standard that we have to refer to. And then the second step is we have to measure the actual performance against the objective. So we already measured the current performance, then we compare the current performance with the objective that we already benchmark, and then we have to evaluate either the performance meet the standard or not. So if it is meet the standard, if it is yes, then we will continue the current activities. But if it is does not meet the standard, then we have to adjust. Either we adjust the performance of the company or we adjust the standard. Okay, maybe the standard is too high for us to achieve it, so we have to reduce, okay, the quality of the standard. So okay, so that is how we rearrange, okay, the controlling process. Okay, we have a several type of the managers. Okay, the first one is the top managers. Okay, which is the top manager will responsible the overall firm performance. Middle manager, they were responsible for the implementing the strategies and working towards the goals set by the top managers. And first line managers, the responsible is to supervise the employee. Okay, so we have 3 levels of managers: top managers, middle managers, and first line managers. All right. So the area of management. So there are several departments, okay, that is really important for the company to set up the organization. The first one is the human resource managers, okay, which is the human resource department. They will hire and train the employees, and then they will evaluate the employee performance, and they will determine the compensation. Okay, for example, like salary, allowance, okay, and then the benefits, okay, that we provide to the employee. So all these thing is the is the works that has to be done by the human resource department. And then second department is operation departments. So operation managers, they were responsible for the production, inventory, and the quality control of the products. Okay, and then the marketing managers, they were responsible for getting the product from the producer to the consumer. Okay, marketing managers, they are responsible to market the product, okay, to the end user consumer. Information managers, okay, they will design and implement the system to gather, organize, and distribute the information. And the financial managers, they were responsible in planning and overseeing the accounting function and financial resources. Okay, so this is the five area of management that is important for the company to look into. Okay, and then in the management roles and skills, okay, as the managers, so there is a certain roles and skills that you have, that the manager has to develop, okay, in order to motivating to guide the employee. The first roles is interpersonal roles. Okay, interpersonal roles, which is the roles as the figurehead, leader, or the lesson. Okay, so you as the manager, so you have to know that you are the leader, so you have to play the role as the leader. For example, like give the instruction, give the guidance, give motivating the employee. So that is the roles of the leader. And then you as the leaders also, you are the informational roles, okay, which is you as the part of managers, you will receive all the information, then you have to disseminate the information and become the spokesperson between the management and the employees. All right, and then the third management roles is the decisional roles, which is you have to play the roles when you have to make a decision. You have to put yourself as entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resources allocator, and the negotiator. Okay, that is when it comes for the managers to make any decision. Okay, and then the basic management skills. So, as the managers, it is not about the roles itself, but you also have to have the skills. The first one is the technical skills, okay, which is the skills needed to perform on the specialized task. Usually, for the technical skills, it will depends on the background of the education, okay, the knowledge that is depends on the background of education. So if your area of education in finance, so it means that you have the technical skills on the area of finance. If you are the engineer, so you have the technical skills at the part of the engineering. So this is what we call it as the technical skills. Second skill is the human relation. It is not only about the knowledge, but you also have to understand and you have to know how to mingle with the people. Okay, how to communicate with the people, okay, how to understand them. All right, that is the human relation skills. And the third one is the conceptual skills. So conceptual skills, which is the ability to diagnose and analyze the information according to the different situation. Okay, so that is what we call it as conceptual skill. So as the manager, so you have to have these three management skills as well as the three management roles. All right. Okay. And then in the management skill also, we have a decision making skills, which is the skills on how to define the problem and select the best action to be implemented. And the last one is the time management skills. Okay, so we have to, you have, as the manager, you have to have the time management skills, okay, especially if you have a limited time, okay, for you to commit. Okay, for example, like the deadline, okay, the production time, okay, so that is the time management skills. Okay, what is the causes? What is the reason leading of the wasted time? Okay, the first is because of the paperwork. Okay, because of too many reports that you have to prepare, then it is a waste. You the manager, they are wasting time on that. And then second one is the telephone calls. Okay, and then the third one is meetings, and the last one is reading the emails. So this is the four main causes of wasting time. Okay, and then in the management skills for the 21st century. Okay, so what the management skills that need in the 21st century? The first one is the global management skills. Okay, because now we are involving in the globalization, so our competitors is not only in a local domestic, but we already have the international competitors. So what we have to do, okay, when we are in the global management skills, okay, first we have to understand the foreign market, cultural differences, and the practices of the foreign rivals. Okay, we have to know that how the international competitors sustain in the market. Okay, we also have to look at on the cultural differences on that particular area. Okay, and how the market works. Okay, that is in terms of global management skill. And then second management skills is the technological skill, which is the new form of the technologies have been added. Okay, the manager's ability to process the information while simultaneously making it even more important to organize and interpret an ever increasing wealth of input. Okay, so that is the technology skills, which is the skills needed. Okay, when we have the new technologies comes in, so we have to be a fast learner. Okay, to learn about the new technology. Okay, and then in the strategic management, okay, when we already have all those skills, then we have to formulate the strategy. So before we formulate the strategy, the first step is we have to set the goals. So in the strategic management, this is the process of helping organization to maintain, okay, the effectiveness with its environment. Okay, that is what we call it as strategic management. So the strategy in the strategic management, so we will have several strategies. So strategy is the broad of the organizational plan for implementation, okay, for implementing the decision made to achieve the organizational goals. Okay, so in the strategic management, definitely the company will have the several strategies. So strategy itself is the plan how do we are going to implement our decision. Okay, the first step is we have to set the goals. Okay, goals means that organization means by which organization and their managers measure the success and failure at every level. Okay, so we have to set the goal for each of the period. For example, the first 1 month, what we are going to achieve, the first 3 months, the first 1 year. Okay, so the goals is the objective, okay, that the business hopes and plans to achieve, what we are going to achieve. So there must be the indicator, okay, to measure the success and the failure. That is what we call it as goals. Okay, and then the purpose of goal setting, why we have to have the goals? First, because of to provide the direction and guidance. Okay, we have to know the direction and guidance of the managers. And then the second purpose, because of we want to allocate the resources. The third, because of to define the corporate culture. And the last one is to access the performance. Okay, so this is the four main reason, okay, why we have to set the goals. All right, and then what kind of goal that we have? Okay, the first one is the mission statement. So the mission statement is the statement on how the objective has been achieved. Okay, will be achieved. This is the purpose of the environment to which the business conduct. Okay, and then the second one is the long-term goals, okay, which is the set of the goal for a certain extended period, typically for the 5 years. And then intermediate goals, which is the goals for the period of 1 to 5 years in the future. And the last one is the short-term goals, which is the goals that is very near to the future. All right, okay, then we will continue with the strategies later. Thank you.